Welcome back. In this video, what we're going to be doing is making a paperclip in Inventor. So this is going to be our first attempt at using a sweep in this class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two sketches. First one is going to be the path that it's going to follow, and then the second one is the shape I want to follow that path. So first one is going to look like the generic shape of a paperclip, and then the next one is going to be the thickness of my material, which is going to be a circle. So first thing I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick a plane, any of the planes to do my sketching on, and I'm going to make a couple lines. Now generally these are about 2 inches tall for the big paper clips and about a ½ inch wide. So I'm just going to make a 2-inch line for the height. Click enter to stop the command. I can start it again and go 0.5, enter, and I have 2 lines there. So that's just representing the approximate size of what I'm working in. So I'm going to work with about that width and about that height. What I want to do is I'm going to change each of those lines to construction lines. So I click on the line, then I go click on construction up top. And what happens is later on it's not going to get confused and try to use those lines for my sweep. So those are just there for size values so I know what I'm working with. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a vertical line. Then I want to make an arc, and it's going to be about the full width. And I'm going to make another line on the other side to come back down. And then I'm going to make another arc. Now one thing is when you're making these, you got to make sure that each of these intersections are actually clicking on each other. If there's going to be a space, we might have an error later, and that's the most common error I end up having with students. Alright, there we go. I drew my path. Hopefully every single one of those lines are connected. If any one is not connected at the corners, that's where my sweep will actually stop, and I'd have to reconnect and redo my sweep. So now that I have my first sketch done, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to have to find a plane here to make my second sketch. So I'm going to find one that is perpendicular to my vertical line that starts all of this, and that is my XZ plane. So I'm going to turn visibility on, and then from here I've got to make a copy of this plane right at this point. So I'm going to click on the down arrow here, and I'm going to use parallel to plane through point. If I click on the outside edge of the plane and then I click on the dot, it is going to make a parallel plane to that one. So now I can just turn visibility off by right clicking, turn visibility off, and I have my plane. To be able to make a sketch on the plane, I click on creating 2D sketch, I click on the exterior of that work plane, so the yellow line around the outside, that way I can highlight it, and then I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to make a circle. Now the circle is just going to be the size that looks good, so if it's too small, too big, I can change it after I do my sweep. So now that I have my circle there, I'm going to click on sweep, and you can see it highlighted it. It was really small, but it highlighted it for me, so I already have my profile done. Now the path that I want it to go on will be the path that I made at first, so from sketch 1. You're going to see it followed it and it looks pretty good. I'm going to click OK. And there we go, I've got one. Now to edit this up, because let's face it, that wire looks a little too thin, I'm going to go back to sketch 2. So if I click on the plus sign next to sweep, both my sketches show up. I can double click my sketch, and I can go back in and I can make this circle bigger. Click finish sketch, and let's see how it goes. Alright, that's a lot closer to what one should look like, so I'm going to accept that. And then if I right click my work plane, turn visibility off, all I've got left is my paperclip. So there you go. Have fun.